Yo, it's Kim, back with another video. Kim, like kimchi, except not Korean. Okay, anyway, as promised, I'm back with another major arcana video, and in this video I'm going to give you or dish out like a bunch of fun exercises for you to explore the major arcana and its archetypes. So just so you know, when I was doing the planning portion of this video, when I was concepting and brainstorming and fleshing out and finalizing all my ideas and exercises, I decided that this video is going to be just packed with too many exercises because when I was brainstorming, I got more ideas. When I got more ideas, and I just got more ideas. So I ended up having 10 solid exercises plus the one I mentioned in the previous video. So I'm gonna be putting out 10 exercises out, and this video will be covering the first half. So hence the 5 ways to explore the major arcana, and the other 5 is going to be in the other video. So yeah. Okay, so the first one I already kind of talked about in the Fool's Journey video. I also wrote a blog post about this. Is the first way to explore the major arcana is to tell the Fool's story. Tell the Fool's Journey story. So basically the Fool serves as the protagonist of the story, and you will have the full journey through each and every one of the archetypes, and the Fool kind of converse with the archetypes, learn something from the archetype, interact and engage with the archetype, and this is a good way to get a general sense of the story and how the cards connect together, and it's also a good way to memorize, help you remember the sequence or the individual cards, because you're trying to use the story to put everything together. So it's a pretty fun way to form connections in between the different archetypes. So number 1B, another way to tell the Fool's Journey story, other than the obvious just tell a story, you could imagine or reimagine the Fool's Journey story as a TV show in which each episode is dedicated to a single archetype. So this is a good way if you want to explore the archetypes in detail, and it's definitely more lengthy and it's much more in-depth, but I think it's going to be fun because you can explore different genres, different settings, different ways to play with the story. So I feel like it's much more flexible compared to the Fool's Journey. Actually, it's your story. Do whatever you want. Okay, lastly, another way you could tell the Fool's Journey story is to tell it in reverse. So what I didn't mention in the previous video was I thought this was a good idea because when you tell a story in reverse, as in you tell the story in past tense, as if like it already happened before and you're just telling the story of what came before, this gives you a lot of interesting ways for you to play with a story, because you can really use different story techniques to, like you can go a little bit meta with this. You could kind of like, because the Fool, if he's telling the story, everything will be told in hindsight, right? The Fool would kind of already have access to the decisions that he's made, and then maybe some of the regrets that he's had, and what did he ultimately learn. This is long after he went through the experience of Fool's Journey. This is after all of his experience, and this is a fun way to revisit the Fool's Journey story if you as a storyteller have already told the story before and you just want to revisit it and explore it in a different way. So yeah, tell the story in reverse. And last but not least, if you're wondering about any of these exercises, or if you just want more info, I wrote a blog post about this. I strongly suggest that you check it out because I'm kind of a more textual person, so I usually put more juicy things in my blog posts compared to like my videos. So if you want more details, definitely go check out that blog post. I included a lot of prompts and ideas about characterization, deciding on the setting, addressing the environment, and story themes, that kind of thing. So lots of fun storytelling stuff to help you with your tarot journey. The second exercise, this is one of my faves, is to I don't even know what I'm saying, is to use a mind map and use it to do a free association exercise. So a mind map, if you don't know what it is, a mind map, aka spidergram, aka sunbursting, or whatever other names that people call it. A mind map is basically a sort of visual organizing tool that helps you sort of expand on a core idea and help you form connections on page. Yeah, it's very visual, it's very fun, it's very easy. You can write, draw, doodle, highlight, underline, basically whatever you can, just on a piece of paper. Like, you can just let your imagination run wild. Well, usually people do this on paper, or there are some programs or softwares online that allow you to do it on the internet. But I always find that doing it on paper and by hand is much more intuitive, and it's much more flexible because you can just draw an arrow and like point and connect in whatever way you want. Yeah, this is one of my favorite writing tools to teach. When I teach students writing, because as we all know, pre-writing is important. It's important to get your ideas down first, so that's why you brainstorm and you outline and you write your thesis and da da da. Okay, so to give you an example of doing a free association exercise using a mind map, first you would just put down whatever tarot card it is that you're working with. So in this case, I want to do the star with you. So you'll put down a star, you can put a circle around it, you can design some kind of shape, anything you like. Looks like a sunflower ate a star, but anyway, or it looks like a little star putting on a sunflower costume. So basically you start from here, and then you would just start to expand on this core concept or this core idea. So you would just put down whatever it is that comes across your mind. So for example, the first thing I think of about the star card is healing and also vulnerability. So it could be something totally random, like thinking of the star reminds me of the sea star snack that I used to have as a kid in Taiwan, and it was really delicious, so I'm gonna put yum. So even though it's not particularly like has to do with physical healing, but I guess it did make me happy for just a little bit. But you shouldn't binge on fast food. Yeah, so you would just kind of keep expanding on that idea and vulnerability, because usually the maiden on the star card is usually depicted as naked, right? So there's a sense of openness as well. And oh my god, I cannot remember how many ends are there. Yes, there are 2 ends. Oh my god. Being an English tutor sometimes makes you neurotic because I'm always so self-conscious about my grammar, my spelling, and stuff like that. But anywho, so the star is associated with the water element, and also associated with the earthy element or the earth element. And you can also associate it with self-care, and also associated with purity. I'm gonna put down pristine. You can just write down colors like blue, and you can write down soft, you can write down things like impressions. You can even start doodling a little bit to make the page look pretty. That's a terrible start because I'm trying to look at the screen at the same time as I doodle. Yeah, just do like a little doodle or whatever. Whee! Okay, so you get an idea, but you basically just keep going until you feel the entire page. So you could just get like a ginormous poster board or something and then just like scribble away, or you could just use like a letter size paper or whatever it is. You can do like a notebook or whatever. So just do it until you feel the page, or just set a timer. Do it for 10 minutes and then just stop. So it's kind of like free writing. You just kind of free flow into your intuition and allow your intuition to guide you, and just go whatever your intuition takes you. Just put down whatever words that come to your mind and then just note them down. And then at the end, you can start to make connections. You could sort of, circle like bigger concepts that you put down. Right, so healing and vulnerability. So this is kind of like a state of being, right? You can kind of start summarizing it. And then you could also start linking things together. You can preferably do this with a different color. Blue soft, you might link that with the elemental associations, right? And so this is kind of the impressions of the stars, right? So you might sort of connect that as well. So it doesn't have to look perfect. You just have to kind of just play with it and just track how your thoughts are developing on the paper in a visual manner, And this can really help you gather your ideas, and it can inspire future study directions. It can kind of just see where it takes you. It's super fun. Okay, the third exercise is to do keywords. This is kind of similar to the free association exercise, but it's much more word specific. So I'm gonna give you 3 word categories. So to kind of and ask you to brainstorm keywords under each of these categories. So those 3 categories are nouns, verbs, and adjectives. So I'm not going to give you a grammar lesson if you don't remember what these are. They're called parts of speech, in case you're wondering. But basically, really quickly, nouns are things, names, or places. Verbs are actions, and adjectives are describing words that are used to describe a noun. So, for example, if you are trying to do like a keyword session for the Fool, for nouns you would put down words like adventure, innocence, and intention. For verbs you would put down venturing, seeking, exploring, wanting, experimenting. So, words that end with ing, or they don't have to end with ing, they just have to be a verb. For adjectives, you would put down fun-loving, adventurous, brand new, curious, childlike, or something like that. Okay, so the fourth exercise is much more interactive and much more sort of uh, allows you to put the cards in context more. So this is an exercise that will help you identify similar themes in between the cards, and will help you form better connections with the cards. So what you do is you basically group cards with similar themes together. And there are many ways to do this, and there are no wrong way to do this, but I think the idea is like come up with your own grouping and come up with a reason for it. So you can kind of organize these archetypes in a way that makes sense to you, and it'll help you study or help you discover the connections between the cards. I feel like I've been saying that a lot in this video. Yeah, so you can form these, you can put these cards in big groups, like a few big groups, or you can put them in pairs, you can put them in several smaller groups. There are really no rules to this. You could do whatever you like. Alright, so for example, you can divide the major arcana just right down the middle. So you can do one group that is from 0 to 11. So that is the Fool to Justice. And you can say that these 11 or 12-ish cards, my math is terrible, that's why I study English. These cards are kind of more, they have, they are more concerned about external world or external pursuits such as conquest or goal setting or goal getting or education or socialization. So it's more about your external environment, your external world. It requires your physical self to make a move to pursue those things, to interact with those things. And then the other group would be from 12 to 21. So it would be from the hangman to the world. And you can say this group more has to do with the more internal pursuits. It's more it has to do with spirituality, inner strength, inner transitions, and identity and stuff like that. You can always just group cards together, and it can be totally arbitrary. For example, you can just put the Fool as on its own and just be like, oh, the Fool is the protagonist of the story, and then you can put the Magician and the High Priestess together, and then they have to do with personal power. You can put Empress, Emperor, and Hierophant together. You can say they represent education, and in which the Fool learns how the world works. And then you can put Lovers and Chariot, which is more about like socializing with the outside world. You can put the sun and the star and the moon together because they're the celestial orbs. You can put like Hangman, Devil, Tower together because they represent challenge. And then you can put Death and Judgment together because they represent transition or renewal, stuff like that. So the possibilities are endless. So just go forth and create your own groupings and let me know what they are. So the last one is a super fun one, and it's also kind of a personal favorite. Um, Basically, you create lists for the major arcana archetypes. So this is super easy. First of all, you just have to decide what kind of list you're making. So, for example, if you're making a song list or soundtrack list for the major arcana, you just have to consider, for example, the theme of the Fool, what kind of song or what kind of soundtrack would match the theme or represent the theme of the Fool. And then you would do the same thing for Magician, you would do the same thing for the High Priestess, and so on and so forth. So you can dedicate one song or soundtrack to each of these archetype, or you can do multiple, just, whatever that strikes you as the most fun and inspiring. It's super fun, and you can do this any way you like. You can create a video playlist on YouTube, you can make a music playlist on 8 tracks or on iTunes, or just, like on your computer. You could just write it down, you could use Pinterest. I think Pinterest is a good one because you can actually just pin the stuff that you're interested in. If you're looking for ideas, check out my blog post, 10 Listopia and journal prompts for the major arcana. The links are down in the description box. Make sure to check it out to get some ideas. Alright, so this is the 5 ways in which you could explore your major arcana archetypes, and there's 5 more coming, so stay tuned. And let me know which one's your favorite so far, let me know which one you really want to try, and let me know how it went. And if you end up making a video about it, make sure you put the links down, because I would love to check it out and see what you came up with. See you next time!